Greenpeace Africa slams Zuma's COP17 opening speech. And TSC calls on government to put pressure on international donors. I'm Lebo Changela with this news update. Environmental activist group Greenpeace Africa has criticized President Jacob Zuma's opening speech at the UN climate change talks in Durban, saying it lacked leadership. They say that Zuma had an opportunity to speak about the urgency of the situation, yet skirted around the main issues. Greenpeace climate campaigner Frail Adams says that as the host country and the continent's largest carbon emitter, South Africa needs to take ownership of the process in Durban to ensure that a meaningful outcome is reached.
I think that it's good to welcome people to South Africa. It's good to mention that we're ready to have the negotiations, but he didn't touch on the main issues. He didn't touch on the key issues, on how South Africa is going to be dealing with it, or South Africa's view on many of it. For example, Kyoto Protocol is one of the key discussion points at the moment. Whether it lives or survives, that's debatable. But he didn't touch on that. He mentioned it in passing, and I thought that was quite weak.
President Zuma says he's confident that the conference will be a success. With other African leaders, he's officially opened the African Pavilion at the Durban Exhibition Center. It will host discussions related to the conference. Zuma says there is determination from all parties to work together at the COP17.
We believe the talks here will certainly be a success. As you know, we were in Copenhagen. You know what happened? And we went to Cancun, where we made progress. I think the realization of all parties that we have got to work together is in fact seen in the faces of the delegates here. And there's been a lot of...
The Treatment Action Campaign has called on the South African government to put pressure on international donors like the Global Fund not to cut funding for HIV/AIDS programs in Africa. Nokwezi Hoboi from the Treatment Action Campaign says, while South Africa will not be heavily compromised like neighboring countries such as Malawi, Swaziland and Zimbabwe, the country will feel the impact of the cutbacks when people cross the border to South Africa for treatment. Hoboi says South Africa as a leader in the fight against HIV should speak up for its neighbors.
Majority of us as women who are living with HIV have children who are HIV negative today because of the highly active antiretroviral treatment that we have received, and we don't want to see a reverse in the progress that has been made in all our countries. And if South Africa does not take any leadership, knowing that the neighboring countries, our brothers and sisters, will flood into the South African borders to come and seek better access to healthcare treatment. And if it leads, our government leads, we will ensure as civil society that we support our government in putting pressure to other international donors to continue providing funds for the Global Fund.
And DRC authorities say troops have killed 3 masked gunmen and arrested 7 others who attacked a polling station in the southern city of Lubumbashi during today's presidential election. The governor of the local Katanga province, Moise Katumbi, has told media that another 5 gunmen handed themselves over after being surrounded by the army. Matlatsi Gallant reports on other incidents of election violence.
In the city of Kananga in Kasai Oriental Province, a stronghold of top opposition presidential candidate, Etienne Tshisekedi, reports say 15 polling stations were set alight when voters found ballot boxes allegedly stuffed with ballots in favor of incumbent President Joseph Kabila. Meanwhile, in the capital, voting is continuing, though the mood is tense following weekend violence. Matlatsi Gallant, SABC News, Kinshasa, DRC.